Hi guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And this is the second half of the double feature which we're doing on Tyler the Creator today. And this is the brand new track by Tyler the Creator featuring Steve Lacy, Frank Ocean and Anna of the North as well. And it's 911/Mr. Lonely. It's like a two-part one tracks if you get what I mean. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So this track has a fair few features in it, doesn't it? All of them I'm incredibly excited about, especially when paired with Tyler himself, since all these people seem like they complemented really well. We already know Frank Ocean fits perfectly with any Tyler the Creator track at this point. This is the second half of this double feature, as I've said, this sort of review thing we're doing here at StringBuzz, trying to do it more often when we have these sort of dual singles which are being released more and more often. And this is sort of discussing Tyler's last two singles, including the one mentioned in this video, as well as the other review which should have gone up by now, and that's Who Dat Boy. Definitely recommend you check out that review as well. So should we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, I thought it was pretty freaking good, and although it isn't quite as good as Who Dat Boy, which is a bit of a spoiler I guess, I did find myself really enjoying this track. It's varied, it's exploratory, there are some amazing instrumental moments scattered throughout the runtime, and it actually had a great showing here as well, and Tyler sounded sweet as heck on this track. I think the track's production cycle is a little bit rushed in times, you know, certain times, since there are bits that did sound a bit thin and a bit watery compared to his other single anyway, and it doesn't really have that sort of top-notch mastering and the impact of that other single, which you'd expect from a normal Tyler the Creator track anyway, but still the production cycle is good enough. However, it's incredibly ambitious, it's very vibrant, and the amount of key changes between the two parts within this track are unreal, to be honest with you, and it goes to show what a collection of artists can really do when they're just given free rein. Production-wise, the track is pretty decent for the most part, but I did find myself finding it a little bit thin and a little bit outdated at times, but these are only minor complaints really. I like the 90s style synth bass, since it was twangy and thick, carrying the low ground really well with this organic, roomy kick as well in the percussion, which also sounded fantastic in my opinion. The problem for me though is the lack of diction on the vocals, and some of the backing instrumentals meant that it sounded a little bit rougher than it actually was on the re-listen. It wasn't as bad as the first time around. I don't mean in a sense that it is gritty, but rather that it sounds a little bit too muggy, a bit too muddy as well for me personally. However, considering how many different timbres and tones were worked into this two-part track, which isn't actually that long, it's astonishing how they managed to keep such a sort of conjunct, cohesive feel for this song. Comes to the musicality of this track, there is no doubting how creative and how inventive it is, in my opinion. Usually two-part tracks have a distinct stop and start feel from one another, you know, as they're transitioning, and they are more of an extension of just the one theme. But this track, however, completely changes key, pretty much changes theme entirely, yet still sounds more cohesive, more conjunct than 90% of the tracks trying to do the same thing. I think the key changes, whilst we're on the topic, are my favorite aspect from in this track, since they just showcase something that we don't often hear very much anymore when it comes to mainstream music, and the way Tyler adapts tonally to each key change is incredible in my opinion. Sorry for the slip of the word. In fact, his performance is so unreal on this song that it is one of his most uncanny flows to date. The track's sort of song form as well is really varied and exciting, making his sort of flow seem even more remarkable. The decoration on this track is awe-inspiring, and outside of some weaker sort of production sequences, there isn't much you can really fault here from a musical sort of musicality type standpoint. Lyrically, the track is pretty good, but I wouldn't say it's great per se, since the themes weren't perhaps as fleshed out or elaborate as you'd expect over a beat like this anyway, but they are certainly good enough to hold their own and still be memorable. There are a couple of memorable lines within here as well. So all in all, it's another fantastic track by Tyler and the crew, who did a really good job here altogether. So I gave it a G rating of 8 out of 10, which is well above average. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, comment what you think in the comment section down below, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.